Some people's way of delivering passion is like, ooh, passion, passion, which doesn't feel as like hostile as someone like me who like, passion is volume, like passion is force, like passion is, I gotta project to the back of the room. I'm a theater person, I'm a drama, I'm a thespian. That's passion. And then I'm a woman and I'm a Black woman. So it's like you've suppressed, and so we're gonna be like not letting you suppress. I mean, all of these things are a part of like just the uniqueness of like my person. If you don't have the context or even the interest to try to apply that properly to the uniqueness of my individualism, then you're gonna just do it through your own lens of your own shit, and that has nothing to do with me.
Can you just begin by talking about how you're feeling right now?
I feel great about showing this coat. Yeah. I mean, look at this coat. Yeah. Okay. I mean, there's that. I am feeling creatively invigorated, which is the irony of collapse. As somebody who has spent the last few years really submerged in Hollywood, which is not a place of true creative birth. It's really a place of capitalism that finds its way on the backs of creatives. I now find myself really having to commit to the independent artist of it all, and having to also alleviate myself oftentimes of just like the pressure I put on myself to like be perfect.
So I'm sad to say this, but
Yeah.
I feel like it's time to take
Now
off
it's
your...
time to say goodbye.
So can you talk about what your style says about you?
I think my style says about me that I'm casually fly. It says that I am confident. People have always told me that, wearing colors is a sign of confidence. I think genuinely I gravitate towards green when I'm in a phase of like action. Maybe it's about growth. I think it also just says that I'm adventurous. I will literally buy something because it's so stupid. Like I bought a dress the other day that looks like an actual cupcake. I mean, I was just like, this is so stupid. No one's gonna buy this, but I will. It's kind of like what I used to do with men. Like I'm gonna buy, this is a stupid person, but I'm gonna date this person. I'm gonna make this person make sense. So luckily I have done a lot of work to transfer that energy into garments. I also love tracksuits. I'm obsessed with tracksuits because tracksuits simultaneously say, I tried, but I'm relaxed. I can just, I can move. I can, I like the flexibility.
What are assumptions that people make about you based on how you look and on your appearance?
People say I'm angry, she's bitter, she's a pill, she's a shrew. I mean, they don't really say shrew because they're not really reading Shakespeare, but you know what I mean. I'm also just like a really direct person. Like I just don't have a lot of like pleasantries. Like it's hard work. Like I've had to really work hard at like, like it's not in my natural being. Like I've had to create social ability to just make my life easier and not have to keep explaining myself in that way, because it comes off as rude, it comes off as short, it comes off as disrespectful. And a lot of times it's literally just my brain processing something from A to Z. But I think for what it's worth, I'm also, for a lot of people, I've only shown up for them in certain instances. Like, if you're on the internet and you've only seen me like being angry about the government, unwittingly, you are forming an opinion about me that is just based on like, probably in total, like 3 minutes of footage. But I remember I was on a show where one of the cast members was like, they're afraid that you're gonna attack her, like if a topic comes up about race or something. And I was like, have you ever seen me like verbally attack anybody? Or physically attack anybody? And they're like, no. And I was like, so this is fear that is not supported by any legitimacy, but that you're like putting on my back. And the truth is that what you've actually seen is me talking into a phone. And you felt attacked because it was probably about you. Why do you feel attacked? It's because you're still attaching yourself to these people that think this way. And if you're still attaching yourself to these people that think this way, then you're gonna continue to protect them in a certain way.
How do these assumptions make you feel? Like, does it, yeah.
They hurt my feelings. I mean, I'm definitely like absolutely somebody who people think like doesn't get their feelings hurt because I show up sure to places. There's an idea that can only be assigned for men. Only men are allowed to show up full and in their power, because a woman's power for so many people is determined by men. So how dare you determine your own power? The vitriol that people assign in their misunderstanding of me is very potent. And as an empath, it gets under my skin. I completely have experienced definitely this idea that because I'm strong-minded and strong-willed person that I'm somehow impervious to hurt. We just had a situation like this recently with my mom, where like a scenario happened and she like sent me this like link, and it was an active shooter that was 2 hours away from the place where I was doing stand-up. And this active shooter was at a comedy club, and my show was in 2 hours. And I was just panicking like when she sent this to me, and she just like disappeared. And the next day I was like, what the fuck? And she was like, I'm just really embarrassed. I did not show up for you. We've all just grown so accustomed to Amanda's gonna figure it out that we just get lazy in our role.
Oh my God, that's perfect layer. So what would you say is like the biggest insecurity that you're working on overcoming or have recently overcome? And is it connected to anything we were just talking about possibly? Or
I've been very fortunate to not have carried many body insecurities, even though there were many efforts made to put them on me, I feel. I'm very insecure about my tone. My delivery has always been a point of contention for people. Sometimes I am being condescending. My therapist said that me being condescending is me not choosing violence. She's like, I feel like what you want to do is hit the person. And I was like, correct. Like, I mean, I have rage. I have like real rage. I'm paraphrasing, but James Baldwin has said like, to live as like a conscious, alert Black person in America is to live in a constant state of rage. Like, you're always managing that. I think the rage also comes from like my dad not being around. I think there's rage there. He has given me as much as he could, and I've received it, and the rest I'm fine without. But there's still, I think, at the end of the day, the imprinting within me from being a youthful person and experiencing that loss. I think it has been largely quelled by finding love and solidity in my partnership with my man. He's not filling a void, but he is absolutely serving as an enhancement. I think that there was a part of me for some time that felt like it was weak to say that, or felt like I was giving too much power to the relationship, like it felt like codependent. I mean, during the pandemic, I had my revelations about being a codependent and what that really means and how that shows up in all these ways. Like, oh, when I react acutely to somebody switching up behavior, that's a part of your codependency and your abandonment issues. What? It really helped me to like be better about like identifying the ways in which I was showing up toxically in relationships. You're doing behaviors that don't serve you. You think you're being super helpful. You think you're being super present. You're actually smothering. And what you're actually trying to do is control the outcome of the situation. And really, you should just be able to show up. Like, we do a lot of looking at our partners and like what they lack. Why aren't you? And so I'm actively working on being better at identifying like, oh, but you do this thing though, and you do that, and you do that, and you do that. And like, this is what I lack.
So when do you feel the most vulnerable?
I would say I'm the most vulnerable when I am genuinely trying to create a safe space for everyone to speak about how they feel in a situation. In order to do that, I have to be just like available. I've had friendships where there was a disagreement that really rocked our friendship. In order to move past that, it was going to require me and that other person to be willing to just say, okay, what's the real thing here? And not have ego in it. But in order to do that, like, you genuinely have to come to the table vulnerable, trusting that that other person is going to respect that. And when it doesn't happen, it can be really jarring. It's also just very encouraging in the value of vulnerability. Because when you do it and you get the short end of the stick, it makes you feel like, well, I'll never do that again. But when you do it and it's seen, it makes it also so much easier for you to go there and be able to like live in that space and not see it as a weakness. When I go on stage, I'm also vulnerable just because I'm so free. Like, I'm open, like I'm completely open when I'm on stage. I mean, at the end of a show, you just want to feel simultaneously spent and full. You want to feel like you gave everything you got, and then it was like also replenished instantaneously. I had to challenge myself recently because I had done a show and I had to do 2 shows that night. And I did the first show and I was exhausted. And I was like, well, they just gonna get what I got for the second show. I can't even promise it. And then like, I would say like while the opener was like wrapping up her set, I was just like, shut the fuck up, Amanda. You better go out there and give these people the goddamn show they paid for. And I ended up doing like an incredible show. But when people say to you, even if it's just an individual, like, you doing this thing helped me to find healing, it gives value. And you have to ask yourself, like, is impacting other humans enough? Some days it is, some days it's not. Some days I'm just like, so we can't just like save the bonobos and like, you know, restore the Democratic Republic of Congo. Like, we just can't figure that out. And it's like, well, Amanda, you're not gonna figure that out today, but you might make someone happy with your podcast.
When is the last time you cried?
Probably like this morning. Probably saw like some video in the dodo. Oh no, I saw a baby hippopotamus born. Cried. It takes nothing for me to cry. I mean, I found out in the last season of Insecure, like, you're an actress. I needed to cry and I cried. But I don't really like acting. I'm trained in it, like I've been in it. I've been SAG since 1994. Like, I am an actress by trade, but not by spirit. My spirit is in my own words. It took me a long time to admit to that without feeling like I was sounding like some self-righteous prick, but that's really what it is. Like, I just feel better in my own words.
What's your biggest fear?
I mean, I guess my biggest fear is that like these crackers is gonna win. When I say crackers, I mean the people and the supporters of them who truly believe that they deserve to live in spite of everyone else. I don't think it's fair that the people who are here on this earth should have to suffer because these other people want them to. And they're winning because we do not have a culture of honesty. It's not true just because you think it is. There are facts. You can't have opinions about facts. Confidence is about facts. When I'm wavering in my confidence, I've been taught to go back to the facts. I feel like so much of the fear that is spawned out of our society right now is this actual dissolution of facts. People don't have anything to stand on.
What is your wildest dream?
I'm living my wildest dreams. I mean, like, I'm in love and like I'm in a home that like really feels like I've made my home. I'm getting to express myself like in the way that I want to. I have really good friends. It's really fucked up the context that it's in and the grander scheme of things. It's like a survivor's remorse kind of feeling, right? Because you're like, damn, like I'm living my wildest dreams at the time that the world is at its wildest. Why do I get to live my wildest dreams while other people are not? So my wildest dream would be to see that outside of myself.
Okay, so last question. Why in your body, in your skin, in your journey, why is it a good place to be?
Because it's a warm place, it's a creative place, it's a fun place. Existing in that throughout this journey has been what's kept me hopeful. You know, within this space of me, like there's just pockets of positive that I am able to discover when I need to. I think that's what makes this journey not just like tolerable and not just like manageable, but like able.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to our sponsor, Headspace, for supporting us in bringing this week's episode of What's Underneath to life.
Headspace is an everyday app for your mind that helps you create life-changing habits that support your mental well-being.
Meditation is by far the best thing that I've ever done. I do an hour every morning religiously. I'm completely dedicated to it. It has been the best thing for my well-being overall, bar none.
Unlike my mom, who is the most disciplined person I know when it comes to meditation and doesn't really need a lot of guidance, I do. And I personally love Headspace's guided meditations to help me feel grounded and come back to myself.
Studies have shown that 10 days of Headspace resulted in a 14% decrease in stress. And we're so proud to partner with a brand whose mission is to improve the health and happiness of the world.
Go to headspace.com or the link in the description and use code StyleLikeU60D for a 60-day free trial. The offer is valid for a limited period of time, so make sure to sign up today. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of What's Underneath
With Amanda Seals.
For more episodes like this, subscribe to Style Like You.